This week's Torah portion is Tetzavah, which translates, "You shall command." Torah is taken from Exodus chapter 27, verse 20 through chapter 30, verse 10. The Tanakh is 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 2 through 14. And the apostolic portion is taken from the book of Mark chapter 6, verses 14 through 29. Exodus 27:20, and you are to command the children of Israel to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, to cause the lamp to burn continually. In the tent of meeting, outside the veil, which is before the witness, Aharon and his sons are to tend it from evening until morning before Yehovah, a law forever to their generations, from the children of Israel. Exodus 28. And you bring near Aharon your brother and his sons with him, from among the children of Israel, for serving as priests to me, Aharon, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, the sons of Aharon. And you shall make set-apart garments for Aharon your brother, for esteem and for comeliness. And you speak to all the wise of heart, whom I have filled with a spirit of wisdom, that they shall make the garments of Aharon, to set him apart, for him to serve as priest to me. And these are the garments which they make: a breastplate, a shoulder garment, a robe, an embroidered long shirt, a turban, and a girdle. And they shall make set-apart garments for Aharon your brother and his sons, for him to serve as priest to me. And they shall take the gold, and the blue, and the purple, and the scarlet material, and the fine linen, and shall make the shoulder garment of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet material, and fine woven linen, the work of a skilled workman. It is to have 2 shoulder pieces joined at its 2 edges, and so it is joined together. And the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, which is on it, is of the same workmanship, made of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen. And you shall take 2 shoham stones, and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone, and the remaining 6 names on the other stone, according to their birth. With the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet, engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. Set them in settings of gold. And you shall put the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garment as stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel. And Aharon shall bear their names before Yehovah on his 2 shoulders for a remembrance. And you shall make settings of gold, and 2 chains of clean gold like braided cords, and fasten the braided chains to the settings. And you shall make a breastplate of bright ruling, a work of a skilled workman, like the work of the shoulder garment. Make it of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen. It is square, doubled, a span its length, and a span its width. And you shall put settings of stones in it, 4 rows of stones. The first row is a ruby, a topaz, and an emerald. And the second row is a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row is a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row is a beryl, and a shoham, and a jasper. They are set in gold settings. And the stones are according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 according to their names like the engravings of a signet, each one with its own name, for the 12 tribes. And you shall make braided chains of corded work for the breastplate at the end, of clean gold. And you shall make 2 rings of gold for the breastplate, and shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And you shall put the 2 cords of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate. And the other 2 ends of the 2 cords you fasten to the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garment in the front. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and shall put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate, on the edge of it, which is on the inner side of the shoulder garment. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 shoulder pieces, underneath the shoulder garment, on the front of it, close to the seam above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment. And they bind the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the shoulder garment, using a blue cord, so that it is above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, so that the breastplate does not come loose from the shoulder garment. And Aharon shall bear the names of the sons of Israel on the breastplate of right ruling over his heart, when he goes into the set-apart place, for a remembrance before Jehovah continually. And into the breastplate of right ruling you shall put the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be on the heart of Aharon, when he goes in before Jehovah. And Aharon shall bear the right ruling of the children of Israel on his heart before Jehovah continually. And you shall make the robe of the shoulder garment all of blue. And the opening for his head shall be in the middle of it, a woven binding all around its opening, like the opening in a scaled armor, so that it does not tear. And on its hem you shall make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet material, all around its hem, and bells of gold between them all around. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, on the hem of the robe all around. And it shall be upon Aharon to attend in, and its sound shall be heard when he goes in to the set-apart place before Jehovah, and when he comes out, so that he does not die. And you shall make a plate of clean gold, and engrave on it, like the engraving on a signet, set-apartness to Jehovah. And you shall put it on a blue cord, and it shall be on the turban. It is to be on the front of the turban. And it shall be on the forehead of Aharon. And Aharon shall bear the guilt of the set-apart gifts which the children of Israel set apart in all their set-apart gifts. And it shall always be on his forehead, for acceptance for them before Jehovah. And you shall weave the long shirt of fine linen, and shall make the turban of fine linen. And you shall make the girdle of woven work, and make long shirts for Aharon's sons. And you shall make girdles for them, and you shall make turbans for them, for esteem and comeliness. And you shall put them on Aharon your brother, and on his sons with him, and shall anoint them, and shall ordain them, and shall set them apart, and they shall serve as priests to me. And make linen trousers for them, to cover their nakedness, reaching from the waist to the thighs. And they shall be on Aharon and on his sons when they come into the tent of meeting, or when they come near the altar to attend in the set-apart place, so that they do not bear crookedness and die, a law forever to him and to his seed after him. Exodus 29. And this is the task you shall do to them to set them apart to serve me as priest. Take 1 young bull and 2 rams, perfect ones, and unleavened bread, and unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil. Make these of wheat flour. And you shall put them in 1 basket, and bring them in the basket, along with the bull and the 2 rams. Then you shall bring Aharon and his sons to the door of the tent of meeting, and wash them with water. And you shall take the garments, and shall put on Aharon the long shirt, and the robe of the shoulder garment, and the shoulder garment, and the breastplate, and shall gird him with the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and shall put the turban on his head, and shall put the set-apart sign of dedication on the turban, and shall take the anointing oil, and pour it on his head, and anoint him. Then you shall bring his sons, and put long shirts on them, and shall gird them with girdles, Aharon and his sons, and put the turbans on them, and the priesthood shall be theirs for an everlasting law. So you shall ordain Aharon and his sons. And you shall bring near the bull before the tent of meeting, and Aharon and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bull, and you shall slaughter the bull before Yahovah by the door of the tent of meeting. And take some of the blood of the bull, and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and pour all the blood beside the base of the altar. And you shall take all the fat that covers the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, and burn them on the altar. But the flesh of the bull, and its skin and its dung, you shall burn with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. And take 1 ram, and Aharon and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall slaughter the ram, and you shall take its blood, and sprinkle it all around on the altar. And cut the ram in pieces, and wash its entrails and its legs, and place them upon its pieces and on its head. And you shall burn the entire ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to Yahovah. It is a sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahovah. And you shall take the 2nd ram, and Aharon and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall slaughter the ram, and take some of its bloods, and put it on the tip of the right ear of Aharon, and on the tip of the right ear of his sons, on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot, and sprinkle the blood all around on the altar. And you shall take some of the blood that is on the altar, and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aharon and his garments, and on his sons, and on the garments of his sons with him. And he and his garments shall be set apart, and his sons and the garments of his sons with him. And you shall take the fat of the ram, and the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat on them, and the right thigh. It is for a ram of ordination. And 1 loaf of bread, and 1 cake made with oil, and 1 thin cake from the basket of the unleavened bread that is before Yahovah. And you shall put these in the hands of Aharon, and in the hands of his sons, and you shall wave them, a wave offering before Yahovah. Then you shall take them from their hands, and burn them on the altar as a burnt offering, a sweet fragrance before Yahovah. It is an offering made by fire to Yahovah. And you shall take the breast of the ram of Aharon's ordination and wave it, a wave offering before Yahovah, and it shall be your portion. And from the ram of ordination you shall set apart the breast of the wave offering which is waved, and the thigh of the contribution which is raised, of that which is for Aharon, and that which is for his sons. And it shall be from the children of Israel for Aharon and his sons by a law forever. For it is a contribution, and it is a contribution from the children of Israel from their peace offerings, their contribution to Jehovah. And the set-apart garments of Aharon are for his sons after him, to be anointed in them, and to be ordained in them. The priest from his sons in his place puts them on for 7 days, when he enters the tent of meeting, to attend in the set-apart place. And the ram of ordination, and cook its flesh in a set-apart place. And Aharon and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram, and the bread that is in the basket, by the door of the tent of meeting. And they shall eat those offerings with which the atonement was made, to ordain them, to set them apart. But let a stranger not eat them, because they are set apart. And if any of the flesh of the ordination offerings, or of the bread, be left over until morning, then you shall burn up what is left over. It is not eaten, because it is set apart. And so you shall do to Aharon and his sons, according to all that I have commanded you. 7 days you shall ordain them, and prepare a bull each day as a sin offering for atonement. And you shall cleanse the altar when you make atonement for it, and you shall anoint it to set it apart. For 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar and set it apart. And the altar shall be most set apart. Whatever touches the altar is to be set apart. And this is what you prepare on the altar: 2 lambs, a year old, daily, continually. Prepare 1 lamb in the morning, and the other lamb you prepare between the evenings. And 1/10 of an ephah of flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering with 1 lamb. And prepare the other lamb between the evenings. And with it prepare the grain offering and the drink offering, as in the morning, for a sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Jehovah, a continual burnt offering for your generations at the door of the tent of meeting before Jehovah, where I shall meet with you to speak with you. And there I shall meet with the children of Israel, and it shall be set apart by my esteem. And I shall set apart the tent of meeting and the altar, and Aharon and his sons I set apart to serve as priests to me. And I shall dwell in the midst of the children of Israel, and shall be their Elohim. And they shall know that I am Jehovah their Elohim, who brought them up out of the land of Mitzrayim to dwell in their midst. I am Jehovah their Elohim. Exodus 30 through verse 10. And you shall make an altar to burn incense on. Make it of acacia wood, 1 cubit long and 1 cubit wide. It is a square, and 2 cubits high. Its horns of the same. And you shall overlay its top and its sides all around, and its horns with clean gold. And you shall make for it a molding of gold all around. And make 2 gold rings for it, under the molding on both its sides. Make them on its 2 sides, and they shall be holders for the poles to lift it with. And you shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold. And you shall put it before the veil that is before the ark of the witness, before the lid of atonement that is over the witness, where I am to meet with you. And Aharon shall burn on it sweet incense morning by morning. As he tends to the lamps, he shall burn incense on it. And when Aharon lights the lamps before the evenings, he shall burn incense on it, a continual incense before Jehovah throughout your generations. Do not offer strange incense on it, or a burnt offering, or a grain offering, and do not pour a drink offering on it. And Aharon shall make atonement upon its horns once a year, with the blood of a sin offering of atonement. Once a year he makes atonement on it throughout your generations. It is most set apart to you. 1 Samuel 15, 2 through 34. Thus said Jehovah of hosts, I shall punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he set himself against him on the way when he came up from Mitzrayim. Now go, and you shall smite Amalek, and put under the ban all that he has, and you shall not spare them, and put to death from man to woman, from infant to nursing child, from ox to sheep, from camel to donkey. Then Shaul summoned the people and mustered them in Telaim, 200,000 foot soldiers and 10,000 men of Yehudah. And Shaul came to a city of Amalek, and lay in wait in the wadi. And Shaul said to the Canaanites, Go, turn aside, come down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For you did show kindness to all the children of Israel, when they came up out of Mitzrayim. So the Canaanites turned aside from the midst of the Amalekites. And Shaul smote the Amalekites from Hawilah all the way to Shur, which is before Mitzrayim. And he caught Agag, sovereign of the Amalekites, alive, and put under the ban all the people with the edge of the sword. But Shaul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and the cattle, and the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not put them under the ban. But all goods despised and worthless, that they put under the ban. And the word of Jehovah came to Shemuel, saying, I am grieved that I have set up Shaul as sovereign, for he has turned back from following me, and has not performed my words. And it displeased Shemuel, and he cried to Jehovah all night. And Shemuel rose early in the morning to meet Shaul, and it was told to Shemuel, saying, Shaul went to Carmel, and see, he set up a monument to himself, then turned and passed over, and went down to Gilgal. And Shemuel came to Shaul, and Shaul said to him, Blessed are you of Jehovah, I have performed the word of Jehovah. But Shemuel said, What then is this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowing of cattle which I hear? And Shaul said, They have brought them from Amalek, because the people spared the best of the sheep and the cattle, to slaughter to Jehovah your Elohim, and the rest we have put under the ban. And Shemuel said to Shaul, Wait and let me declare to you what Jehovah said to me last night. And he said to him, Speak. And Shemuel said, Though you were little in your own eyes, were you not head of the tribes of Israel? And did not Jehovah anoint you sovereign over Israel? And Jehovah sent you on the way and said, Go, and you shall put under the ban the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they are consumed? And why did you not obey the voice of Jehovah, but swooped down on the spoil and did evil in the eyes of Jehovah? And Shaul said to Shemuel, I did obey the voice of Jehovah, and I went on the way on which Jehovah sent me, and brought back Agag, sovereign of Amalek, and I put Amalek under the ban. But the people took of the spoil of the sheep and cattle, the best of that which should have been put under the ban, to slaughter to Yehovah your Elohim in Gilgal. Then Shemuel said, Does Yehovah delight in burnt offerings and slaughterings, as in obeying the voice of Yehovah? Look, to obey is better than an offering, to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of divination, and stubbornness is as wickedness and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yehovah, he also does reject you as sovereign. And Shaul said to Shemuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the command of Yehovah and your words, because I feared the people and listened to their voice. And now, please, pardon my sin, and return with me, and let me bow myself to Yehovah. But Shemuel said to Shaul, I do not return with you, for you have rejected the word of Yehovah, and Yehovah does reject you from being sovereign over Israel. And as Shemuel turned around to go away, Shaul seized the edge of his robe, and it tore. And Shemuel said to him, Yehovah has torn the reign of Israel from you today, and has given it to a neighbor of yours, better than you. Moreover, the eminence of Israel does not lie nor relent. For he is not a man that he should relent. Then he said, I have sinned, but esteem me now, please, before the elders of my people, and before Israel, and return with me. And I shall bow myself to Yehovah your Elohim. And Shemuel turned back after Shaul, and Shaul bowed himself to Yehovah. And Shemuel said, Bring Agag, sovereign of the Amalekites, here to me. And Agag came to him delightedly. And Agag said, Truly, the bitterness of death has turned aside. And Shemuel said, As your sword bereaved women, let your mother be bereaved among women too. Shemuel then hewed Agag to pieces before Yehovah in Gilgal. And Shemuel went to Ramah, while Shaul went up to his house at Gilboa of Shaul. Mark 6:14 through 29. And sovereign Herodes heard, for his name had become well known. And he said, Yohanan the Immerser has been raised from the dead, and because of this these powers are at work in him. Others said, He is Eliyahu, and others said, He is a prophet, like one of the prophets. But when Herodes heard, he said, This one is Yohanan, whom I beheaded. He has been raised from the dead. For Herodes himself had sent and seized Yohanan, and bound him in prison because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because he had married her. For Yohanan had said to Herodes, It is not right for you to have your brother's wife. So Herodias held a grudge against him and wished to kill him, but was unable. For Herodes feared Yohanan, knowing that he was a righteous and set-apart man, and he protected him. And when he heard him, he was much perplexed, yet heard him gladly. And a suitable day came, when Herodes, on his birthday, gave a feast for his great men, and the high officers, and the chief men of Galilee. And when the daughter of Herodias herself came in and danced, and pleased Herodes and those who sat with him, the sovereign said to the girl, Ask me whatever you wish, and I shall give it to you. And he swore to her, Whatever you ask me, I shall give you, up to half my reign. And she went out and said to her mother, What shall I ask? And she said, The head of Yohanan the Immerser. And coming in immediately with haste to the sovereign, she asked, saying, I wish that you give me at once the head of Yohanan the Immerser on a dish. And the sovereign, becoming deeply grieved because of the oaths, and because of those who sat with him, did not wish to refuse her. And the sovereign straightway sent an executioner, and commanded his head be brought. And he went and beheaded him in prison, and brought his head on a dish, and gave it to the girl. And the girl gave it to her mother. And when his taught ones heard of it, they came and took away his dead body, and laid it in a tomb.